Hi, it's Glenn, and it is Friday afternoon. We're broadcasting as I always do on Friday from Hingham. It's kind of a dreary day here in Hingham, and it's that in between time between Thanksgiving and Christmas where we wonder if we can get everything done that we have on our to do list. Uh, by the way, if we don't get everything done, the world is not going to come to an end. But we've had a very interesting 13 weeks. This is the last week of content of this course, and the topic has been resilience. Next week will be a reflection week. I want you to be an active participant in the discussions. I will have a end of course commentary for you next Friday. But this week was about resilience, and I had the opportunity to share my story with you, and both in video as well as in the Harvard Business Review. I think I had mentioned that after I got injured in 2001, I set an objective to write my story in the Harvard Business Review. And it was not an easy story to write. Not because I didn't have my thoughts collected, but because I, like you, am not used to talking about myself in the first person. So it was a unique experience. I thought that thank you for sharing your stories of whether it was in your youth or in your adolescence or in your adult life, of things that you have faced and how you've come through it also, and you've used it to draw on and build your own strength. I want to talk just a little bit about falling, and I had a few posts about this, but the difference between recognizing when you're falling and being able to catch yourself before you hit the spiral, or the second type, which is having to wait till you hit bottom. Now, I've had experiences in both, and actually am pretty good at recognizing when I'm heading in a bad direction or something has happened to me, and being able to pull myself out of that before I hit a personal crisis. But boy, I've also had my share of personal crises. And when you're in that spiral, all you can do is wait until you hit bottom and then decide, all right, I'm on the bottom, now what am I going to do about it? And my experiences have been in both realms. In the last few days I've talked a little bit about toughness, and I debated about whether I would have a whole module on toughness or whether I would include it in resilience. And so I decided to include it in resilience. Let me give you my thoughts on toughness. Now, I think toughness is a good thing, but I don't think of it as being a tough ass or being a drill sergeant or putting an armor suit on so that you can deflect all sorts of emotions. It's not how I look at toughness. I look at toughness as being able to take on tough problems or being able to make tough decisions. And I've had people that I've worked for tell me that I'm not tough enough, and I've had other people tell me that I'm one of the toughest people that they know. And it's interesting that people can see you in different lights. I tend to be attracted to tough problems, or problems that other people want to avoid, oftentimes dealing with people, and somehow I can figure out a way to succeed in that tough area. So taking on a tough problem, I think, is one aspect of toughness. I think the second aspect is making tough decisions. Now, tough decisions often show up as difficult dilemmas in which you're choosing between a wrong and a wrong. There's no right solution evident, and no matter what you do, you're going to be criticized. A lot of people shy away from those things. I'm telling you that, I think that life is just full of dilemmas like that, and you have to summon the internal fortitude to make decisions in a tough environment like that. Now, let me talk a little bit about people who I think are resilient and people who I think are good at turnarounds, because I don't see them as the same thing. I think that a turnaround master is a person who, in general, knows how to turn around the financials of an organization. Now, I'm not trying to diminish the importance of that. I think that's extremely important when an organization has found themselves in deep financial difficulty, that it requires a stern, clear-thinking individual to be able to turn that situation around. But I'm also concerned about what's left after that situation is turned around. And that's when I think about organizational resilience, the ability to not just come back financially, but to come back in terms of purpose, in terms of the human resource, in terms of vision, in terms of passion. Those things typically are not addressed by a turnaround master. And so that's why I think resilience is so important for leaders, to recognize that there are other dimensions besides financial that need to be turned around, if you will. You know, the week we talked about Straight Talk, that was a very difficult week for most of you. And I think that Straight Talk is an aspect of toughness. Now, I'm not talking about being brutal, and maybe we should have spent more time on Straight Talk. But to me, Straight Talk is being straight, but being constructive at the same time, of knowing what outcome you want when you're being straight, and then setting the conditions for the person to be able to hear what you're saying and then act on that in a very positive way. And there are many of you that I commented, you have to understand where you're standing when you initiate Straight Talk. Most people shy away from Straight Talk because they equate Straight Talk with conflict and being critical, and they want to avoid conflict, and they don't want to get people upset, so, all of that. I think that's a critical aspect of toughness. Let me go to connecting the dots. Now, Steve Jobs, one of the things I really liked about the Stanford commencement address was how he talked about connecting the dots. And he talked about his calligraphy class. And if you think of Apple, Apple is a firm not only that creates leading edge technology, but creates beautiful leading edge technology. And now you know where the beauty of that has come from, and that's from the course he took at Reed regarding calligraphy. If I look at myself, and you have the opportunity for reflection, one of the things that I might encourage you to do is attend high school to college reunions. Especially talk to people that you hadn't seen in a long time, because those people will remember you as the person 25, 30, 15, whatever it is years ago. And one of the things that you will see is there are things that you started, the seeds of who you were very evident back then, and you've long since remembered some of the important character developing episodes that you've had. I went to my 25th college reunion and saw a woman. I was a vice president of my class when they had such things, and our treasurer came, and she brought a folder. She actually brought a Glenn Mangurian folder, and we opened the folder, and there were different press clippings, and I had long forgotten most of those things. And I said, boy, I did that. And it caused me to see that the leader that I developed into started or was nurtured during my college years. So connecting the dots is important, and I think it's important as you start to see new doors open for you, that there may have been things in the past that have pointed you to that new door that you have long forgotten. Now, let me say a few more things. I have attached to the email that the mail message 2 documents. One is a PowerPoint presentation that I made this past spring when I was invited to speak to the full-time MBA students at UMass Eisenberg School. And it's not a long presentation, and it's called, I don't know what it's called, Possibilities, Passion, and Purpose, I think. And I also have attached what I call the wisdom of adversity. And what I've picked out of a long list of 40 sayings that I think have relevance to this course that you can use as a reference or a touch point. I didn't make up all these. I made some of them up, but some of them have been given to me from other people. And they're very interesting points, I think, to reflect on. Not only about resilience, but quite frankly, it was as a result of bouncing back that my thought process even went in this direction. But it's really about who we are in this world and what's important to us. One of the things I talked about to the students was realizing what's possible. You've seen that in the video. It's my signature on my emails that I send out in my personal and business emails. And I basically believe that we are much more capable of achieving things than we think. And it's through the hardship that we discover that our ability to survive and adapt. And if we can do that, what else can we do when we really put our minds to it? So you'll see some information there about realizing what's possible. And I want to underscore passion and purpose, because I don't believe that I could have gotten through my adversities without having some sense of purpose. You know, I mentioned in my article that I received hundreds of Glenn stories, of notes that were sent to me. They're just over my shoulder in about 6 notebooks. They're always in my office. I have not looked at those notebooks probably in a good 9 years. And I don't know whether I will look at them again, but they are there, and they are testaments to the impact that I had on people in my first life. I am very proud of that, and I underestimated the impact that I had on other people. Now, let me move to your course assignment. Congratulations. I was so thrilled to read the assignments as they came in, and the stretch that you gave yourself. If I compare that to some of the ambitions that you had earlier in the course, a world of difference. There's a bit of dreaming here. There's a bit of poetic license. But, you know, there's also a lot of truth in what you wrote. And so congratulations. I am sharing 5 of them with you. You can pick the ones that you want to read. I could have shown you 15, and they would have equally been as good. I tried to pick 5 that I thought were different, with slightly different tones. If I did not pick yours, it doesn't mean that you didn't do a great job on it. Okay, we're in our final week. This is our reflection week. I want you to be active in our discussions. I'd like to hear your commentary on the course, as well as your ability to acknowledge any other students in the course. We've had some great students here, and I'm so proud to have been your instructor in this course. I will share my reflections on what I wanted to accomplish when I first started thinking about developing this course and where I'm going to go with this also. Your final grades should be posted by next Friday. By now, you should know where you stand. The vast majority of you have done just an excellent job. I will sign off now. I will have a final video and commentary for you next Friday. Enjoy the weekend.